Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. Keith here from Commander Hoop Celtic. We're doing a podcast tonight for the change. It's going to be a good debatable podcast from live on YouTube with guys from the Celtic Appreciation page and Mickey Owens, as he likes to call himself. So, lads, welcome back. It's been a while. Last time I think we done a podcast, we're going back to April.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Aye. It's been a while.
And the last time you were on, it was all doom and gloom. There was a lot of controversy going on at the club. There was a massive dark cloud over Celtic Park, and everything off social media it was an absolute disaster. People were moaning about the way the club was being ran. Obviously, no manager at the time who was going to come in. It's been a lot has changed since we've last spoke. So I'm going to kick it off to yourself, cause obviously yesterday we seen the scenes from this supporters bus of Rangers with Kyogo. What's your thoughts on the whole thing?
I mean, listen, there's obviously an element of support, and I think any support that lets a club down, undoubtedly, it's because it's Rangers fans that I think Celtic have obviously quite rightly jumped on it. Listen, it's absolutely disgusting in this day and age. I know there's a lot been done down south about racism, and all over Europe, quite rightly, people are still taking a knee to try and get this message across. It's just idiots, and I do think that it needs to go further. I mean, fair play to Rangers for their quick reactions to this. They've obviously banned the supporters in question, and they've obviously banned the supporters bus from getting any future tickets. So they've done really well on their part. But I think more needs to be done in terms of the police need to be charging these guys.
Oh, I completely agree. Mick, what's your view on the whole thing? And obviously, I'm sure you were discussing yesterday, like us all.
Yeah, I agree with Gaz, what he said there, especially the way the punishments have to go, the way the policing has to go. The thing that kind of got me more is, I'm not putting this on all Rangers fans, to be honest. Obviously, look, racism is everything. Every club in the world is tackling at the moment. Like, obviously, every club has their element, and we're no exceptions to that as well. I guarantee we have our small element there. So, like, there's no angels in this to say every club is extinct of racism. It's just not existing. The thing that I kind of got angry about the most was the fact that they were probably the ones that were crying out the most when Glenn Kamara was racially abused last year. And I'd be interested now to see if Tavernier does the same thing Scott Brown did when he was abused, if he'll cross the barricades up to Kyogo, just shake his hand saying we stand with you as well. Just kind of that little acknowledgement. It'd be interesting to see if that happens. But no, as guys said, fair play to Rangers, like acting on it straight away. It was probably a little bit easier knowing it was an away game that they were able to identify these guys. And so hopefully it can just be one of those things that can be moved on from quickly. But because we don't want it to affect Kyogo, especially if you looked at Ange's interview today, he was a little bit more down about it as well, I thought, because he was saying he was the guy that brought Kyogo here. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's enjoyed his time in Glasgow already. So hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. And Kyogo's response on Twitter was brilliant as well. Say, I'll never walk alone. It's nice little tweet to let us know that he's okay about it.
100%. Yeah, I just hope he doesn't obviously get booed and cheered on Sunday, because there's no reason for him to be booed. He hasn't done nothing.
Until he bags a couple of goals in, then, you know.
Hopefully. I'm going to talk about the Kyogo actually in performance-wise. What do you think so far? Some player?
I think he's definitely hit the ground running. I'm very, very surprised because, I'll be honest, I'm one of the ones that wasn't too sure about him when we got him. But obviously I was speaking to Scott McIntyre, a Tokyo-based journalist, and he was raving not just about Ange Postecoglou but also Kyogo, saying, you know, we've got a real gem in our hands. And I think it showed within, you know, his first couple of games. Do you know what I mean? I think he's definitely settled in really quick, but you need to protect him as well because he can't play every game. That's what's good. That's what's good about the fact that he can switch with Edwards, in terms of if Edward goes up front, he pushes out to the wing and vice versa. So we do need to protect him in that respect, but he's been phenomenal so far.
And we can play Christie on the wing as well. Mick, what do you think of that option? We're starting to left wing.
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously Christie was out the last. He came in there the weekend gone, but The games before that, he was obviously out, took a little bit of a knock when he was starting to find his range and his pace again. Obviously, under Lennon, he was just taking 20 shots a game, maybe 2 of them going on target. You just don't see that from Christie now at the moment. He's playing on the wing, he's getting balls in, he's taking on players the way we like to see him before. And it's nice to see that we have that little option up front as well. Like, I think Saturday as well with Eddie getting kind of taken in and out of the game. He seemed to kind of have a bit of a revival in him, that he seemed to enjoy his game on Saturday. He was happy to be there. He was scored after as well, and he was happy enough with the goal. But you just kind of see, like, with that little competition up front as well, even the Eddie coming on, he seems to be was enjoying it when he was coming on the pitch as well, even though he wasn't starting. So there's obviously something like nice little bit of competition on the training ground, and they're kind of obviously rooting for each other as well. So if that change comes up, and the way, especially the way Kyogo's fit in there as well, you could nearly play him in the wing the way he looks. Like, he just takes on players in as well. He can cuts in a good bit as well. So yeah, it's nice little bit of competition.
But even seeing spells of James Forrest playing on the left wing as well, which is pretty good.
Yeah, James is a bit.
So just your connection's a bit dodgy there for a second. I'm going to talk to Gaz about Christie now. What do you think, Gaz? With the captain, he was given the captain's armband the other day when McGregor came off. Do you think there's a chance he'll stay?
I'd love to see him stay. As I say, I was one of his main supporters last year, his main defenders, and the fact that I think he's refinding that form again. He's playing with a smile on his face. I definitely hope he would stay. It's up to him at the end of the day whether he feels he wants to go down south or go abroad. But at the end of the day, I did see that. I did laugh at his Instagram post at the weekend. He says he's proud to be given the captain's armband by Callum when he went off, but his biceps needs worked on a wee bit. There was a kind of close up on his arm with the armband, and it looked a wee bit limp. So, but listen, but listen, that's what you love to see, a wee bit of humour. He's obviously enjoying his football, and I think all the players, especially, are buying into Ange's kind of philosophy that he's trying to impose in his club.
That's it, 100%. I want to talk about the other winger, Abada. Mick, so far, what do you think of Abada?
So far, so good. Like, he's happy there as well. He's buzzing. On top of that as well, he's scoring goals, and he seems to have taken to it very well. Like, it's kind of hard to pick out a signing that Ange brought in that hasn't exactly been performing too well. Like, maybe the only one that probably hasn't settled is obviously Starfelt. But again, I don't think it'd be fair to, like, kind of criticise him too much. Like, he was taken straight off the plane and put into the match in Newcastle. So he hasn't found his time to settle. But the way Abada's playing as well, he's just absolutely brilliant at the minute. Like, even though he took the injury and then coming back from injury straight away and getting back on the score sheet, and he looks hungry. He looks really, really hungry. So, which is a great thing to see at the minute.
Some pace out of him, some absolute pace, and he took his goals well the weekend as well. He could have had a couple of more as well. It's just it's exciting. Like, we're into a new step of football that I don't think Celtic fans would have imagined it's going to happen so quick. But still in the back of my mind, I'm like, is it going to take 2 seasons to get to where we need to be? Are we looking too much into it? But this is a massive week, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the AZ game and then the game on Sunday, because I think a lot of people are thinking about the game on Sunday more than the game on Thursday, because it's a big game on Thursday. Yep. Like, we don't want to be playing in the Conference League. As much as it's European football till Christmas, we want to be playing the Europa League because that's our standards as a club at the moment. We weren't good enough to beat Midtjylland, and I think we would have got dumped out by PSV, to be honest. They literally hammered Midtjylland. But just want to talk about Ange. It's like, look, I think when Ange was appointed, I think all of us were kind of skeptic about this guy. And I'll be honest, I came out on the channel and said it. Regards to yourself, guys, when he was appointed, how did you feel? Did you feel like we got robbed, that we didn't get Eddie Howe at the time? Just be honest.
I felt like Eddie. I felt like it was very much second prize. It was a bit of a consolation prize with not getting Eddie Howe, and I think that was mainly because it was a security blanket. We all know Eddie Howe as a manager, we all know his style of play, the teams that he's obviously managed, and I think it was a bit of a safer option. It felt almost a bit Ronnie Dylish when Ange came in, kind of thing, and even probably I didn't see a lot of pre-season, but even when you looked at the Hearts game, looking back now, you can see what the guy's trying to do and what the team was trying to do. But I think a lot of the fans kind of got a wee bit panicked because first game of the season, you've just lost the Hearts, and you're 3 points behind Rangers already. So I think a lot of the fans get panicked, myself included. But you could see now, looking back, what the guys are trying to do, kind of thing.
100%. Look, at the end of the day, we left 106 days before we appointed a manager, which was desperate from the club. I think it was a mediocre stunt just to renew the books. But look, it's paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Mick, what was your impression on when he was appointed as the manager? Be honest, there's no point of bullshit and lying about
Yeah, I was kind of always rooting for Eddie Howe from day one. To still now, I still would have been interested in to see what Howe could have done. Now, obviously, he hasn't picked up a job since that. You never know. We might have dodged a bullet there. But come here, I'm not going to slate Eddie Howe. I still think he's a fantastic coach with great ideas, and I still think he will go on to success. Sometimes I think we missed the book there. And come here, in fairness, in respect to most Celtic fans in this, it did look like history repeating itself with getting the cheap option, not sourcing this out. So I see every Celtic fan had a right to feel that way. I think under the way things have gone in the past. But look again, if the way Celtic fans have responded to this, they've all supported him straight from day one. They haven't turned around and said he was going to be gone in the first couple of months. They said, "Look, we don't know this guy. We'll give him the chance. If he comes good, he comes good."
as well. He's on a rolling year contract, which I think was a good move from the club because
absolutely
it takes him 2 years. If it comes to the case that we felt the Sunders and it didn't work this season, then he's going into next season and we're expecting high hopes for it to gel.
But again, that's another security blanket for the club to do that as well. Like if you go in and offer a rolling contract, they don't have to pay big compensation fees if it all falls asunder. So they were always going to do that. And they've done that with every man. I think they even did it with Rodgers. I think at one stage, if correct me if I'm wrong. But that's the way Celtic have always operated, and I think it's the way they're always going to operate because if something goes belly up for 4 years of a big high paid manager, we haven't got the funds to cough up a compensation every single managerial contract.
Exactly. If we're not qualifying for the Champions League as well.
That's it. That's a big thing you have to think about as well. So, look, I'm delighted with him straight away, to be honest with you, Keith. His honesty as well, the way he talks about the media, the way he doesn't talk about, he hasn't even spoken about the Rangers game once yet. His interview after the game on Saturday, he said, everyone's going to ask me questions about the game next Sunday, but all I want to focus on is Thursday night first. That's a massive game.
100%.
The one thing he has had that literally most Celtic managers have had in the last 10 years is this big run of games between qualification for the Champions League, Europa League, League Cups and League. They're all compressed fixtures. And we never seem to do really well in the first couple of games of the season. It's always 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, winning away goals. But Ange is just it's the fitness and everything. He's just got the players into a certain stage where their fitness can carry them for 70 minutes every game. And at that stage, more or less always already out of sight, that we can take the foot off the pedal a little bit and concentrate on the next game. So it's great to see that as well, finally returning to Celtic Park. Something we haven't had in a couple of years. I'm going to talk about
his first games to Gaz here, Mick. You made a great point on that. The Midtjylland game, the Midtjylland tie was not his fault. He didn't get enough time to prep the team. He didn't get he was desperately calling out for bodies to be brought in the door. And you can obviously see the frustration with this COVID regulations. It's actually harder to get European based players because the way everything has gone. Now, look, we Juranovic to come in now. We haven't seen much of Shaw. Played a few pre-seasons. Origidi still has to play a good few games as well. There's a lot of talk with Nisbet and Griffiths. What do you think, guys? What's going to happen here? Do you think it's going to be a last-minute approach from Celtic with Nisbet for the window?
I do think there'll be a deal somewhere along the line in the next few days with Kevin Nisbet and Lee Griffiths. Whether or not it is a cash plus Griffiths kind of swap deal, then I'd be fairly happy with that, because as much as I think Lee Griffiths is still a match winner and he's still a goal scorer, there's too many problems arising with him. We're getting told that he's injured, and then we're getting told that there's problems off the field, and then coming out and saying that Ange is ready, because I think earlier in the season Ange was saying you're my man, you're the man I'm going to lean on, and we've not seen him since. So I don't really know what's happening, and only Ange Postecoglou in the hierarchy will know. But for me, yeah, I would bring Kevin Nisbet in, even if nothing else, for domestically to try and secure this league title again.
You think he's suited the style of football though?
Yeah, I think he could. I think with the play that we have and the style of play we've got under Postecoglou, I think, especially down the wings, not just down the wings, but through the middle with Turnbull and Rogic and McGregor. You've got Forrest and Abada and Christie out in the wings, Kyogo when he plays there. That's bread and butter for Nisbet. I think he will lap it up. And domestically, anyway, I'm not too sure about him playing European games, but I think definitely domestically, he'll be a hit with the Celtic fans.
100%. What do you think, Mick? Would you take the risk? I know you're on the fence with the whole Griffiths thing. Now, before I ask you, I done a poll on this on Instagram the other day about Lee Griffiths to stay or go, and 71% out of 2,000 people said let him go.
Yeah, and I'd probably be on that side myself, Keith, at this stage. Look, no offense to Griffiths this day. Like, I've no hatred towards the guy or anything. Like, he served us well for over a couple of years. Like, I'd probably kind of be disagreeing with guys there. Like, say, like, yeah, take him on or whatever. Like, obviously, he is a match winner the whole lot. Always was. Like, always great for us the whole lot. But he had the argument with Lennon last year. Had the falling out, come back from pre-season unfit. Then he had this. Postecoglou pulled him aside, said, "This is your last chance." Probably put it to him straight and said to him, like, if you don't pull your weight and get fit, then you're not going to have a chance here as well. And even up until last week as well, he was still training on his own. So I don't think Griffiths is the type of player that likes to be told what to do and how to conduct himself. So if you haven't, like, Postecoglou is creating this nice atmosphere in Parkhead, this competitiveness, like everyone together, and he's the only one that's been training on their own so far. So when you think about that, is he worth keeping on if he's going to store a rift in the camp? I'd be like, right, maybe it is time to kind of part ways with him, and maybe just let someone else coming in.
You're talking about culture there, right? What I was talking to a lad in the pub the other night, and he was saying that when Ronnie Doyle came in, he completely changed the culture around from Neil Lennon's first term. Got rid of all the fizzy drinks in Lennoxtown, changed the diet around, changed the nutrition around. According to Ange has done the same thing. And I know Rodgers changed the culture around. That's why I think when Rodgers left, we seen Lennon coming in, I know he won the league, you could see that the team were getting unfit. Like, in the last, I think even from the Midtjylland game, you could see the pace, like, we're 10 times fitter. Like, even the other night against AZ Alkmaar, we were chasing everything. The whole team was just chasing everything. And do you agree with that, Gaz?
Yeah,
boys.
I mean, to be honest, when I seen the game the other night, the AZ game, I was probably, and this is how far we've probably come in such a short time, but I was disappointed it finished 2-0 because I genuinely felt we could have finished that tie the other night. I felt there was more goals in that for us, and I know Joe Hart's made a couple of great saves and kept us in it, but and they are a decent team. We're going to need to play without possession for long spells on Thursday. But I definitely think we'll score over there. And you can see how the high intensity of the play, that high kind of press, when even in Saturday, you're 4-0 up, and I think there was 5 Celtic players attacking St Mirren's box. So definitely a much fitter style of play, the players are a lot fitter. But as you say, we do need extra bodies in there to help us keep this up over a full season.
They're talking about the Croatian ringer here, Christian Lovric. Now, he's obviously been linked to us for four weeks now. He plays for, as far as I know, Hadji Split in Croatia.
Yeah.
Talks again meant to getting this lad for what, 4 million. There's reports. I think he's 26, 27. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I looked at his stats, but I know I'd keep Christie. I really would keep Christie. I think Christie's appetite has changed this season. I said it could be just a case that he's bought into the philosophy of Ange. Ange, even with the fans, Ange has gone around now. I don't know if he's agreeing with me or not, but do you think we should be going around doing this lap of applause to the fans every single game?
I think it's appreciative of not so much the fans have missed the players and missed being in the grounds, but just the fact that I think the players have missed the fans. The players really missed the fans last year, and I think that's why players like Ryan Christie had an absolute howler last season, because I think they thrive off the Celtic fans, and the noise in the stadium. And they didn't have that last year. So I don't mind it. I know a lot of clubs are saying it's a bit embarrassing. You're beating Dundee and you're beating St Mirren at home and doing laps of honour. But listen, I think it's quite a nice touch, and I think the fans appreciate it.
My highlight so
Yeah,
far this season,
I agree with that as well.
my highlight so far this season, Mick, would have to be when we won against Dundee and he got the huddle and Callum
I
called
loved
it.
it. I loved it.
That's going to be the selling point. If we go on to win any silverware this season, it's going to be down to that. I'm going to talk about Callum McGregor to yourself, Mick. And we're talking about players, individual players, that the way they've came on since last season. What do you think of him, my captain, so far?
Well, look, it's no secret. Like, especially Gaz, like, I wasn't Callum Mac's biggest fan for a couple of years. Like, but I tell you, I'd hold my hands up straight away and say, like, the way he's come out and composed himself and taken this captaincy on, it was completely unexpected from my point of view. To be honest, I didn't expect him to take it as well as he has, and he just looks like a natural born leader every time he walks out. That thing that he did at the end of that game just showed like that there's a revival in the camp, as I keep saying, that he's bringing them on. Like, now, Tierney came out and said as well, like, when he was asked about it, he said the two people in the dressing room that got people going before every game when he was there was Brown and McGregor. And he's saying there's no doubt in my mind that McGregor is the best choice for this job. So, like, I'd always trust Tierney's judgment about when he talked about Celtic, but when his words were backed up about what he did that day, and even see him in the huddle as well, it seems like he's more kind of getting into more people's heads than Brown did. Not obviously Brown did it every single game when you're looking at him, but McGregor's like, he's looking at you, shouting at you. He's like finger in the face. And the one person I love seeing the most when the huddle is it has to be Joe Hart, to be honest. A minute, like,
we'll talk about Joe Hart
pumped for it as well. Like, yeah,
I want to talk.
But McGregor's like, his leadership is just brilliant.
I want to talk about Callum McGregor. Guys, the goal against Midtjylland, proper captain's goal.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen Scott Brown score a goal like that. I'll be honest. I know he scored a couple of hingies, but I think McGregor's got that in his locker. You look back at the goals against Rangers and the goal against Motherwell in the cup final, and he's got that in his locker. And I'm surprised, as a massive Callum McGregor fan, I'm very surprised by how well he's taken this role on. And you speak of that huddle after the Dundee game, and I just thought, I loved it. I thought gave me goosebumps, and I absolutely loved it. He's definitely grown into the role, and obviously we talk about Bruni being missing out that team. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Bruni with Halliday, Aberdeen and Hearts.
Oh yes.
Bruni's going to block the ball, and he knows Halliday's behind him, and he just stops and kind of gives him a wee elbow and decks him and starts laughing. And absolute stitches, honestly. Absolute classic Bruni. But no, I think McGregor's definitely came on.
I think he's playing with more of a free roam this season, and even the way he conducts himself in interviews and press conferences, you could see that the stress is off him from last season. Now, Ange did say, not a lot of podcasts have covered this, but Ange has said that he's fixing a broken team. This team is broken with confidence. They're shattered from last season, not having the fans in the stadium, the disappointment to hitting rock bottom and then getting back. But if they do turn it around, this would be some season.
I don't think any Celtic fan will have expected us to win the league this season, I'll be honest. I don't think any Celtic fan will have expected.
But you know what? If we make a good reputation of ourselves on Sunday against the champions, we'll have to see. Some people might say the COVID champions. That's what a lot of people are saying. Right, I'm going to go back to Joe Hart. Mick, you were talking about Joe Hart there. So far, what do you think?
So many, how many clean sheets he had so far now? It was like 5 clean sheets, what I can count. Like some of the saves he's pulled off. Like obviously when he came in, there was people that were a little bit worried. They were like, right, is he past it? We could have paid the money out for Fraser. We could have got Ben Foster or whatever. But like something in the back of my head was saying, "Oh look, Joe Hart, he is good and he plays with his heart in his sleeve for no matter what club he's in or what team he's playing for." And you can see that with us now. Like people say, like, "Oh, it's his end of his career. He's gone to Scotland." The usual crack when people talk about Scottish football. But again, you still have to play ball. Like he hasn't played first team football for a couple of years. He was third string for Spurs, and at the same time he wasn't even getting his place in the League Cup. And it's a big step up to come to a club like us that's under pressure, especially in the goalkeeping position for the last 2 seasons. That we haven't had someone in there that's going to be like basically standing like with the Barkas situation and Bain and Hazard as well. This was big pressure on him, and he knew that. So I think it was a big decision for him to make, and it's playing out. It's playing great from so far. Like it's just going to be hard now. Like if he does keep keeping this up with consistent clean sheets, will another club turn his head? That's what we have to be worried about. I think a little bit.
2 things that sold it to me about Joe Hart on the pitch so far. I'm going to talk about off the pitch as well. The 2 saves that he made against Jablek, they were massive.
Yeah.
You're seeing the fans going absolutely crazy with them saves. Look, it was Europa League qualifier, and I swear we were playing a league in Derby the way it was magical. The other thing that sold it to me, and I'm sure, guys, you're going to talk about as well, is when we were playing against AZ Alkmaar, and it was like, I think it was 10 minutes to go. Ange called him over, Joe Hart over. You go off to Callum and you tell him what to do.
Aye, I think. I mean, 16. I think it was 16 appearances in 2 seasons for Burnley and Tottenham. He had. It was a risk, obviously, because he hadn't played that much. 34 years of age. But listen, that's the level we're at now, because I think we had to take a risk with him in terms of it was £1 million. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But the fact that we're stuck with 2 keepers that we don't really know who's the best out of the 2 of them, do you know? I think the 2 of them are as bad as each other, and I think that a lot of that's down to the defence from last season. To be honest, I think the defence.
I think it could be that confidence is shattered. Like
the defence, that's what I'm saying. Barkas was a great keeper. You know.
In his 8K days.
Aye, but you know that's what happens when you've got a good defence in front of you. And I think potentially, I did say last night that if Scott Bain was to come in and give Joe Hart a rest for maybe cup games or something, then you know I think Bain would feel a lot more secure with the defence in front of him than about what he had last season. But I mean, in terms of Joe Hart, you talk about the 2 saves against Jablonec. You know, I think he actually needed them. As daft as it sounds, and as you know, as bad as it was to see the defence getting breached as easy as that, I think he actually needed that just to prove that, do you know what, I have still got it. Because I think him playing in front of 60,000 week in, week out, you know, playing in Europe again, winning trophies, I think he can go back to Man City peak days, I'll be honest.
I think with the 4 Golden Gloves, winning the Premier League, you know, he's been playing for one of the best teams in the Premier League in many years. He's worked under some incredible managers, Jose, Roberto Mancini, and Pep as well. I know it didn't really work out with Pep, but to have that experience of dealing with their philosophy of football as well and bringing that to the table is a big thing. I'm going to go in the comments here. There's Donny, thanks very much. This is a good comment. You just want to have a look at this one.
I was just going to say that, the wee chat to Jack Annick, I thought that was absolute class.
I'm not a big fan of Annick. Now he's been buried so many times against Celtic, but
I know, but it shows a level of class that they don't have. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Now we're obviously going to talk about other players that have improved because it gets people going. The performances and the levels they're at. This is a bold one. This is Ian. This is a bold comment, but I'll put it up.
I wouldn't disagree with it, but you know, when you look at Kyogo and Abada, I think potentially a wee bit more important in terms of winning his games.
I think Hart
it's a big comment.
Big performance against them the weekend. Clean sheet against them. Oh,
Keith, I'm not going to lie to you. I hope he doesn't need a big performance out of it. To be honest, I hope the job's done before he even gets to them. So
A big performance is just steady in the defence, set pieces. That's all I'm saying. It's not just all about saves. It's about the way you have them that front four in front of you and push them. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I personally looking at the AZ game, we are desperate when it comes to pace with centre backs. Like we're any team can catch us on the break. I don't think Welch is not the fastest, and Starfelt is still trying to find his game, and it's going to take time for Starfelt to get in there. Like he's not valued 5 million for no reason. He's going to take a bit of time. I think what Starfelt is missing is a goal. Is a goal. He has the clean sheets now. He's starting to get the fitness up. Just a goal to give him that bit of confidence.
No, I mean,
Yeah, he's
I'm not that bothered if he doesn't score. You know, at the end of the day, he's a defender. He's there to mop up at the back, and I think it's good that Stephen Welsh is there to almost to be his shoulder, to be his kind of got just to calm him down. And you've seen a lot of it when St Mirren breached the defence and scored, and the goal should have stood. To be fair, but I think Stephen Welsh went up to him and kind of was like three St Mirren players in the box, as if to go, you know, just stay on your man kind of thing. So I think Stephen Welsh has definitely been an improvement in terms of, obviously he's still raw from last season and he still needs improving as well. But
He
he's
was one
working
of
on
our
it.
most improving players last season, him and Turnbull. I'm going to talk about just where we're at the defence here. Ralston. Well, I'll tell you one thing, he's proven a lot of us wrong. Mick, what
Well,
do you think of Ange Ralston?
he's trying his hardest. That's all you can ask for a player like to actually just try and put the effort in and improve. And he's been absolutely one of those guys you thought was never going to break into the first team squad. But now I'm starting to think like Juranovic is coming in, especially for this weekend. Do you take the risk of pulling out Ralston and putting Juranovic in? Because I don't think I'd change that at the minute.
No, I mean, see, boys, Mick. I think the fact that I think he's cup tied. I may be wrong, but I think Juranovic may be cup tied for Thursday, so he's definitely not going to play on Thursday. And I don't see him.
Sorry, just
being
cut you across.
thrown in.
I think I checked it out there the other day. The cup tied is finished. I think that's done away with as far as I'm
Oh, is that
concerned.
done away with? I thought
I
because
think
it
it's
was
in
still
2018,
qualifiers.
2019. I
That
could
was
be
some
wrong, but
bleeding goal the other night as well. For
Oh,
Lego Warsaw. And do you know what done it for me? When he hugged Arthur Boric.
aye.
You know, I would say Arthur's a sneaky agent now. He is.
No, but I mean, I don't see Ralston being dropped.
You
But
can't. He's
listen,
on this form. You can't. Look at he's obviously come through the academy. I gave him pelters at the start of the season saying, look, we need a right back. I'm not confident having this lad, but I'll tell you one thing. Scoring goals, he's the football he's playing. You don't even think he's a right back. He's been playing more centre mids. He's been
I mean
unbelievable.
that challenge late on in the Alkmaar game when he absolutely flew through the defender and cleared it at the 6 yard box, and that was almost cheered as much as Hearts saves. But listen, I think a lot of fans are getting ahead of themselves. You know, a lot of fans are putting up memes about everybody that slagged him should be apologising to him. Listen, it's been 3-4 games or something, 5 games.
He only played 6 games in 5 years for Celtic. What do you expect?
We need to calm down and just remember that it's still early in the season, and if he can keep performing like this, then he's going to take a hell of a shift in at that team. But in my opinion, he's still got a lot to learn to be a Celtic right back. To be honest,
100%, he has a lot to learn. But like for the time being, you just got to take every game as a cup final, and I that's why I was getting very irritated the other night when we won that game against St Mirren, and people are talking about the Rangers game. I was like, look, let's
I
take this.
was still got a second leg.
We have a second leg to play here, and you're talking about the Rangers game. I know they're literally on the back corner from you, and you have to deal with the Rangers fans all the time. But like, we have a qualifier to go, and they have a qualifier. They have to travel 14,000 miles back and forth.
We have
in blistering heat as well.
So look, I don't know what the score was the last time we played Alskirk. I think we hammered them anyway, home and away. But like at the end of the day, the pressure's on Rangers at Ibrox because they're in the front of the fans. There's going to be no Celtic fans there, and it's the way to come back from Europe as well. And plus they're champions as well. So the pressure's going to be on them as much as it is on us. We have to go out there and just orchestrate what we're doing. Play that 4-3-3 system. just bossed the midfield. And I said to you the other day, lads, I'm a bit concerned defensive midfield about this game, but the more these games go on, especially if we do get result on Thursday, I'll be confident going into Sunday.
I mean, I posed the question last night to Paul about the whole ticket fiasco, and Rangers are claiming that Celtic pulled the rug from their feet, so they've done the same. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Would you reciprocate and say in January, no, you're not getting any tickets because we never got tickets, or would you say you can have 700 tickets, or we'll give you the full allocation back?
But see, the thing is, I was reading into it earlier on. Like, you can't. Like, Celtic were right not to say that we can't guarantee 700 tickets, because we don't know what Nicola Sturgeon's going to say from one week to the next. Like, we don't know if we're going to have 60,000 fans in there. We don't know what the way it's going to go. So we were just being honest. Like, I think that's what Rangers are failing to miss here. I say, you are jumping ahead to January, lads. We don't know what's going to happen from one end of the week to the next with these COVID restrictions. So that's one thing they have to. I think they've let themselves down a little bit there. But again, look, to be honest, I still think Celtic were right to say, like, give them the honest opinion. And once it was plugged, they didn't even go and appeal. They said, right, if that's the way they want to play it, let them play it like that way. We'll just play or do our own thing. So like, I just don't think it's anything that can be controlled at the minute from our point of view.
It's not even a loss for ourselves. It's more for a loss of like the spectators, like neutral people that are watching this derby and expect high velocity atmosphere. And we were just like I was making a point the other night on the page. I was like, you know what? You might as well just put the channel on mute, because you don't want to listen to them. You don't want to listen to them, and you don't want to listen to Ian Croker talking an absolute load of bull as well. So just watch the game in mute.
Is he not banned? Is he not banned from Ibrox, or is it just Parkhead he's banned from?
It's Walker. Walker. But yeah, that's what it feels like. I want to talk about Tom Rogic. Where do we start, Mick?
He just looks like the Tom Rogic of old, doesn't he? At the minute, like that. He wanted to leave wanted to leave last year, but the people that were saying as well, like when Ange came in, he said he's going to have a good relationship with with Rogic, sorry, and he had the good relationship in the Australian squad, and it just seems to have left off where they left it. So I think it's great to see him back. He was always a big time player for us when he was fit and he was being the wizard as he always was. So it's great to see him back to the way he is now. Like, and it's good. I think it's going to keep Sorrow out of the team, I'm afraid. Like the things that are going well there at the minute. Like, we thought Turnbull and Sorrow were the future of the club, but look, it's just it's something that happened with Rogic. He came back in, and you're not going to take him off the pitch if he's playing the way he used to. I'm sorry, but he's unremovable.
Sits in front of the two lads and the feet on him. Like, even that assist the other night, like,
it was unreal.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Whipping up the wing, like, of all, like Tom Rogic. You wouldn't see it.
But did you see him when he put the ball in, like, as well? The thing was when Kyogo put the ball in the net, all the lads were just like kind of celebrating, like went to make a run towards Kyogo, but then Rogic just turns around. Yeah, that's usual. But then all the lads just straight to Rogic. He goes, "You're back. Where were you?" It's that kind of reaction. So
that's all. Like, he's not. We'll hopefully see a full 90 minutes of Tom Rogic before the end of the season. It's still early doors, as Gaz says. We're getting an extra minute recently. I know, obviously, he came off the bench the other day, and it was a sexy assist to Turnbull.
He's unlucky not to score as well.
I'll tell you one thing, the way David Turnbull's playing at the moment, do you start him in the Scotland squad in the international games coming up, Gaz?
I think, looking at that midfield, I think there's definitely a place for him alongside Callum McGregor, definitely. I think
drop Gilmore and bring Turnbull in.
Yeah, and purely because I think because he's not playing for Chelsea. He's not playing at that kind of. He's on loan at Norwich, and I just think, I know he's playing for Norwich, and the Norwich fans love him already. But I just think, that he's not playing that kind of high intensity football at Chelsea. I'd maybe say, listen, I don't see him starting in that midfield. I think he'll definitely call him up and be on the bench. But listen, I'd love to see him in that Scotland squad. I don't think it's too soon for him.
He needs to start taking more shots outside the box, doesn't he, Mick? Them shots, he just has it in him.
Yeah, no, you used to see the one like the first couple of minutes when it just cracked the post, like how the Nets were still standing after. I don't know, it just come off them absolutely perfectly. But now he's got a great shot, and like even still, like you can see the face when it's just going inches wide. He's annoyed with himself. He just keeps going and going as well, but he doesn't take a shot if he doesn't think it's open. Like if he doesn't think he can actually do it, he'll pull himself back and he'll make the pass before he takes a shot. He thinks about it. Unlike what Christie was doing last season, just shooting for the crack. Like, you can see Turnbull, he's looking up to say, right, if the shot's on, I'm taking it. And if not,
he's just one of them footballers that always looks like he's exhausted, doesn't he? He has that face that he's 10 minutes of the game and he looks exhausted.
So you have to remember about Turnbull as well, like where he was 2 years ago, like when he was signed and then it all fell apart with the medical. Last year he came in, eventually didn't go too well for him, and people were a little bit worried, I think, as well, like, going into this season. We didn't know what Turnbull to expect. And it's just like the signing that we wanted 2 years ago was showing up this season. It's easy to say there he's been one of our best performers this season. Like obviously a hat-trick the weekend proves that as well. So
outstanding. That goal was outstanding, the first one. And obviously the second one he was in the box for that. But the third, it's just an ink of play. Like he could have had 5 or 6 the weekend, guys. What's your predictions on? Do you think he'll finish with like maybe 12 or 13 goals this season?
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to hit that kind of target. What I would say is I'm very, very relieved that he didn't have his feet planted on the ground on Saturday when that thug Alan Power absolutely went through him. How Michael Stewart, Mark Wilson, certain people on the radio and TV, how they can even dispute that it's a red card is beyond me. I was looking at it about 10 times to see if I was missing something. And this is the top flight of Scottish football. That's a third division tackle. That's a Sunday league tackle. You don't tackle like that if you're a top flight footballer. Do you know what I mean? And Alan Power, before the game kicked off, when I seen his name in the team sheet, I says to the guy next to me, that's the guy that done Frimpong a couple of times, nearly ended Frimpong's season a couple of times. And as soon as the referee pulled out the red card, I says, I'll guarantee you that's Alan Power.
Did he not do it to someone else before as well? Did he not try to do it to Mikey Johnson as well?
Probably. He's an absolute thug. Honestly, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. He shouldn't be playing football in the top flight. And it seems to be Celtic players that he seems to be gunning for. And the fact that he walked away from Willie Collum as if it was a yellow card or as if it was nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
think that's one comment you made yourself after the game, guys, about how Willie Collins still refereeing, obviously getting paid for it, but you couldn't argue it with him. I thought that was like the best refereeing Willie Collins has done probably in his career.
Well,
just a quick red card straight away.
He seemed to take his time in pulling the red card out. But listen,
who was the referee for Sunday?
I'm not actually sure.
Is it Bobby Madden?
It's one.
I know it's not Willie Collum at least.
It better not be beaten.
No, it can't be because he refereed the Tino referee yesterday's game now at Ross County. I don't know,
and that's why there's a couple of goals in it.
To be honest, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a referee that we're not going to be happy with either way, anyway, lads. So we just like.
I know. I don't think it's been announced yet. I think it'll probably be tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday, or whatever. I think he'd do a better job, to be honest.
But, do you think Edward is going to go? You think the whole mist of Edward is done and dusted? He's feeling like he's a new player. Like Mick, you said it there earlier on. He's kind of got the appetite back again.
The only thing I'm afraid of, Keith, is like if he does go at the end of the season, he's gone on a free, and like obviously, look, we got a good few goals, got a good few seasons. Last year out of it. If we got a good Eddie this season and he went in his merry way without signing a new contract, I'd be happy to say, right, see Eddie, thanks very much for the service, but you don't want to see him go if he's paying terrible. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. I wouldn't consider it 9 million down the drain. I consider a 4 at least down the drain. Like we give him like a couple of seasons for 5 million of good service, but it could be a couple of quid down the drain, you know.
I think whoever sanctioned that 40% selling clause needs a books at Celtic. To be honest,
he's not there. He's not there anymore. It's Peter Lawler.
It was an absolutely ridiculous deal to sanction, and maybe that's what got it over the line, the fact that they agreed to 40% selling. But Celtic had stuck between a rock and a hard place where they need Eddie to go for 25, 30 million rather than the 15, 18 million that we're getting told. But listen, I would do everything possible to try and get him to sign a year's extension to his contract, and basically say to him what we say to Aya, perform well, bang in 20, 25 plus goals, and we will get you your move. Do you know what I mean? To wherever you want to go, and that's the way to do it, because I don't think he looks unhappy this season. I think his work rate's been all right this season. I don't think he looks unhappy.
He was brilliant the other day. I thought he was very good. And you know what else is helping him? With the fans singing "I want to be Edward." I love
that. I loved that on Saturday. I thought it was brilliant.
Bringing back to the old days, it is. So that's what it's like.
See, the thing you have to realise with Eddie at the moment as well, the teams were coming in from not this season but last season looking for a move, and the fact that he didn't play to this caliber that he's well capable of, that's the reason why he wasn't getting the move that he wanted this season as well. So he has to put a good bit of blame on himself, not trying, not being there, and then obviously what Lennon came out there and said about him as well, about that he wanted to move and he wasn't playing for me and everything. That would have put a little bit of pressure on other clubs to sign him as well, because they're afraid we don't want this bad apple in our squad to disrupt things. So there's a lot of things that kind of went against him, but a good bit of responsibility he has to take for himself about not getting wanted.
He still finished top goal scorer in the league. That's the crazy thing.
But his attitude as well, Gary, you have to fucking look at it that way, There's a lot more things than just getting top goal scorer. Look at the guy, the Greek guy we're trying to sign at the minute. He was top goal scorer in the Dutch league, and he's just been looked at by us and Werder Bremen. So you have to look at it that way as well.
It must be the attitude behind it. Could be looking for a high wage demand as well. Like at Ogma, 2.5 million for this lad. I hope we do get him. He looks solid. Looks pretty decent. He's obviously he tracks back from when the ball's lost, which is a good thing. We think about a lot of fans bought into Kyogo. Kyogo, when his first home game against Dundee, he was literally going in for everything. I think with the Kyogo thing, I think we just need to let him play his football. Stop predicting how much goals he's going to score. Is he going to be player of the year? It could be a touch wood that he doesn't get a bad injury. We just got to see how he gets on. But someone made it.
They're going to be gunning for him on Sunday. I have to say it early. They're going to be gunning.
Definitely. I miss Ellie Nussey. I'll be honest. I don't know. I know it was split between Celtic fans whether they wanted him in a permanent, but I would have loved to have seen him stay. I think him doing that left hand side, I think he would have absolutely been on fire for us this season.
I think we would have been if we had Mohamed El Nussi and Kyogo playing in the middle and in front with Abada and then Forrest. I think we'd be settled. We wouldn't be calling for a striker. We'd be settled with that for the season as much as when you have a Yeti. I think Griff will be gone. I'm sure Griff's going to go. It's, as I said, it's a frustrating time for Celtic fans. The first thing we look at is the clean sheet, or not the team sheet, and you see Griffith's not on it, and you're saying to yourself, why do we give him a new contract? What's going on?
And the fact that it seems to be every week there seems to be a new Lee Griffith story surfacing. Whether most of it's true or no, I don't know. But I think Celtic can just, the way Dom Mackay wants the club to go, the direction he wants it to head, we don't need stories like this in the press. So listen, maybe it is the time to cut the strings.
I agree with you. I think it's time for the move on. I think he'd be a cracking player for Hibs if he gets his head right. His head's in it. I think cracking player. For starting lineup for Thursday night, what we's going for, lads? Are we going for the same starting kind of lineup we went for on Sunday?
I think so.
Saturday, sorry.
Aye. For what? For the
same starting lineup that played against St. Mirren, would you?
Aye. Saturday. Aye. I think. Aye, probably. I was just thinking maybe would Rogic start, just to give somebody a rest, but I think it probably will be the same kind of starting lineup. Try and score a goal early, and finish a tie, and then take it from there.
I think it's my only concern about Alkmaar is the pace. They have some pace. Like Joe Hart, obviously, with them saves were good, but I just pace-wise, they're a good organised team, disciplined team. They only lost one. They lost the opening game in the Eredivisie, and then lost one game in pre-season. Played 10 games in pre-season. One game
Mm-hmm.
you lost. Unbelievable. But I think we have enough in the caliber to beat them. I really do. I think midfield will boss it.
Aye.
And we'll get into the Europa League. I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to be a seeded or unseeded for the draw, which would be interesting.
It depends on
It
what pot we go
depends on
into,
the
kind of
results.
thing. It depends what pot we're going to go in. But as you said, Mick, it's going to depend on other results. But I think Celtic are going to need to play a lot of the game without the ball. So it'll be very interesting to see how we cope with that kind of thing. Because I think they'll keep the ball well, and it's all about us maybe getting that goal. And I would say finishing the tie. I think another goal would have finished the tie.
I
I
think
can see it going like
to
something similar to the way it did the first like the first 10 minutes of each half. They came out running at us, and we kind of took those 10, 12 minutes maybe to settle, to kind of try and figure them out. Like, we had them sussed by the end of the first half. We could have been more than one goal up, and then the start of the second half, we kind of nearly had to get that composure again. Like, we knew what they were going to do, but I think it's just because we were on top of everything in the first half that they wanted to kind of like do the same thing again, and we just forgot to actually remind ourselves that they're going to come at us again in the first 10 minutes, because we thought it was going to be like carry on as we left off, you know.
I think Ange will be taking a trip to Tokyo with a lot of haggis and annoying Peru and trying to bring back a few boys. Definitely, he did say it was thrown at him in the media the other day. Like, are you going to look in the Japanese market? It seems like it's easier, but he said because they're mid-season, it's very hard to get players over, which is the problem here. But if we go in a winter break, it's obviously the season will be finished, so we should look at the J League. Okay, he's been class. Kyogo's been class. I know obviously Nakamura didn't directly come from the J League. He came from Italy, but like the J League has pulled off some cracking players.
I'm no like a big viewer of Japanese football, so I mean, I potentially I know a few names that Scott McIntyre had taught me, but I don't really know much about them, to be honest.
I'm very surprised he didn't go into any players from the A League though. That's like when he first got the job, like he's gonna raid, probably gonna get loads of Australian international team players.
But I think supposedly between the next 5 and 10 years, supposedly the kind of country to look out for players wise, unbelievably, is Vietnam.
Vietnam.
I mean, I was told that by Scott that Vietnam, the money that they're getting pumped into the football, into their academies and the players that's coming out of it, and he actually tipped them to possibly qualify for the World Cup in Qatar next year. He says, but within the next 5-10 years, Vietnam will be the team to watch out for, kind of thing, the kind of dark horses.
Well, the team we wanted to be watching out for Celtic winning these games. What sold Ange to you was Bielsa. Just Bielsa, I think, was the MICK session sold to me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember saying the first time, I remember sitting down with a few people and saying, lads, just look at this. Like, the way he's talking to the players, he's just non-stop. Like, that thing's we don't stop. We get the ball back. If they stop, we take advantage of that, and we'll celebrate at the end of the game. And like, that's something like you just have to admire straight away. Like, even like he's delivering his honest opinions in press interviews. Obviously, we know that famous one he had with the Australian reporter when he was with the national squad. I think it was the underage national squad, maybe. But he doesn't like media too much.
Foster, his name is, yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like media too much, and it's not evident. Oh, sorry, it is evident, and it's clear to see that he's there to do his job. The other thing I loved what he said as well was about when someone asked him about the finances. I say, listen, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to win games in the park. You want to talk to someone about finances, go upstairs and talk to them. That's not my job. I love that as well.
I love the way he talks to the press. He's like, mate, I know it's an Australian thing, and he's be like,
but it's not even
words in my mouth, mate.
It's not even a friendly kind of mate. It's like what you talk about, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of mate. But I mean, when I seen that training session at first, I thought to myself, I mean, like, I almost laughed because I thought to myself, Is this a wind up? Is this like if Celtic TV done this as a wind up kind of thing? 'Cause it just I don't know what it was. It kind of didn't feel real. But when you see obviously the way the players play in the park, that's you look back on that training session. That is the thing that sold him. And I think even in Saturday when the stadium was filling up and he was out doing his interviews on the pitch for Celtic TV. He's giving it the fist bump and he's applauding the fans, and I think the fans.
He has to do the Ronnie now. That's the only thing he's missing now, doing the Ronnie and the jocks.
I seen one of the Celtic fans commented on the group. I think we should all turn up to Celtic Park with a black jumper on, and I tell you, like it could be a Warburton's hat moment. Do you know what I mean?
The only thing I like about Ange, folks, is they're gonna be like, what the hell? He needs to sort out them slacks. He needs to get rid of them navy slacks. You know,
black and the navy doesn't go well together, does it?
He cannot be going to Ibrox on Sunday.
Come here, Keith. Hold on a second. If it's working so far, I don't really care. If it's working, if it's a look thing, let him wear whatever he wants. Sorry.
We know he's no Pep Guardiola in that stage, I mean, but I mean, it was out about in Glasgow. He was at the fort yesterday doing a bit of shopping and having a bit of lunch with his missus. And I'll tell you what, he just seems a very approachable guy. He seems to love the fact that fans are coming up to him and asking him for photos. Do you know what I mean? So
it just looks like that uncle you always having the booze. I just he's haven't seen him in ages. He's having a laugh. Everyone. No, I have to say. He's at the win over the fans quick enough, and I just think it's the personality, it's the way that he conducts himself, the way he done his press conference. He's not full of bullshit. He's straight to the point. And that's what after the Hearts game, he was calling out in the Midtjylland. He called out for players, and he's getting players in. So it's honestly that selling to the fans.
See, you have to realise for that, Keith. Like you look at what we were dealing with there for the last 2 years. With Lennon, it was like the same thing over and over again. It was like a script was handed to him. And he just read off that. That's basically all it was the whole time. And I think it was even the same with Kennedy as well when he was doing his interviews. But with Ange, you just don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. Like, you just go back to that training grounds scene. Apparently, people were saying afterwards that was the most they could actually show because the rest they just couldn't put on the mic due to the language that was coming out of his mouth. So they had to edit that down to it as well. So.
Oh, brilliant!
But the fact that interview against Hearts after the Hearts game, you could see he was kind of a wee bit pissed off, and the fact that Luke Shanley was trying to poke the bear, he was trying to rile him by saying, "Are you under pressure because you seem to be repeating yourself a lot?" And he just hit back really within a second. He says, "Well, ask me the same questions, you'll get the same bloody answers, mate." Do you know what I mean? Like,
I love the way he does. I love the way he does it.
Mic drop moment, do you know what I mean?
Love the way he does the lip when he's asked the questions like that. He looks up at the camera. He's looking. He's gone. I like him. I love him. And I know what, as I said, I regret why judging him wrong when he got the job. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got the players playing beautiful football. It's the best football.
Just remember, Keith, it is early days. Those guys said as well. But like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves as well a little bit here. Like, so it's great. It's a great start the whole up, but we still have a long way to go before this.
There's going to be bumps and bruises at the end of the day in this season.
Aye.
And no one's ever going to be perfect. And I really believe the football we're playing this season. I'm convinced that we could get a double figure, double digit against someone. I really believe that we can do it. I believe that we can go out there and beat a team 10 goals.
But if Joe Hart hadn't said that to the keeper,
I was just going to say that.
We might have had a chance.
Take the words out of my mouth, mate. But no, I mean, listen, I think John Hartson summed it up brilliantly when he says on Saturday, it's brilliant not just to see smiles on the fans' faces, but to see young kids in watching Celtic and smiling and enjoying themselves. I think that pretty much sums it up. We're on a roller coaster and we're high in emotions and all the rest of it because we're playing well and we're beating teams again comfortably. But as you say, we need to keep this up, and it's going to be a massive, massive week. We need to get no so much 2 wins out of 2, because we can go through a draw and Thursday. I'll be quite happy just to conserve the energy for Sunday, but definitely get a win on Sunday.
Let's talk about Sunday. Is it a case that we're going in confident because of the football we're playing, or is it because of the mess that they're in? What's it?
I think it's on you go, mate.
I don't know. Again, The way their style of football, right? Like we haven't really come up against that so far yet. Like they have kind of this kind of tippy tappy kind of thing going on as well. Like that, something similar to us. Like I'm not going to lie to you, lads. I can really see a 0-0 draw here. I just for something telling me we could see a 0-0 draw. But again, like they're going to be. I think they're kind of like they haven't been saying a whole lot about us at the moment, and they've been very reserved. And the way even Gerrard been reserved a bit. I don't know if they're living in fear of what we could do to them if we're on a backlash of the last. We haven't beaten these guys since 2019. When you think about it, there could be that coming as well, and they might be afraid of they spoiled our party, 10-year-old party. We've got a lot of new signings in. We've got a lot of scores to settle here, especially with a certain someone up front after getting his first goal, like taking that record off us as well. So look, I don't know. I don't know. Even with the fans not there as well, we could be going into this game a little bit more kind of standoffish compared to what we have been. And I hope
yeah,
we're
look,
wrong.
we're underdogs. Underdogs. They have a full stadium with their fans. They're the champions. They're coming back from a long trip. We're playing good football. All we can do is just put what's in front of us out there that are willing to play for the short and give them a game. And as I said, the confidence is in the team from the players coming off the bench. You could see it. Like I wouldn't put James McCarthy in. I think it's too early to put James McCarthy in. I think
I agree with that.
I'd rather put Sorrow in before I put James McCarthy in. So my starting lineup, don't worry about Alkmaar, for Sunday would be Hart and goal, Ralston, Starfelt, Welch, Taylor. It's always going to be the same back four, unless he's going to stick Bolly in, and that's not going to happen, So midfield, Colin McGregor, Tom Logic, David Turnbull. If James Forrest is fit, I'll go with James Forrest instead of Abada. I just think the experience that he has playing against them, James Forrest, Kyogo, and Edward. That's my team.
Yeah, can't disagree with that, to be honest. I think it's very similar to what I'd be looking at.
I mean, I think you just go with the same lineup that beats St Mirren. It depends on obviously who plays on Thursday night, obviously, because if likes of Tom Rogic comes in on Thursday night and has a blinder,
what's the goalie doing,
for 67 minutes, and listen, I think he could possibly feature. I just think when you look at the subs, I don't see anybody else on that bench starting. Beaton's not going to start. Sorrow's not going to start.
Beaton's definitely not starting. Not starting.
Urigidi's not played enough. Yet he's no got it for me. He's not going to be anywhere near the team. So, and Montgomery's obviously no played enough games. So I think it'll be as it was against St Mirren, to be honest. And I think if we turn up on Sunday, we win the game.
100%. I think it makes a bold statement for the season. Look, there's going to be teams that are going to try to take points off Celtic and Rangers. That's the whole joy of domestic football. Who would have thought Dundee United would have beaten Rangers? And they were outstanding. Look at Charlie McGrew, one of the best performances I've seen from Charlie McGrew in recent years.
You have to remember that game kind of took a lot of pressure off us as well, because after them winning the first game, us losing the first game, going a week later, then we got our 3 points back, basically. No disrespect to the team. The teams above us or anything, with Aberdeen, Hibs, and Hearts, obviously. Hopefully, there's nothing crazy happens. But it's at the end of it, it's going to be between us and them at the end of the season as usual. But that could have been a serious blow to us as well. If that was 3 points ahead of us going into this weekend, if they ended up winning this Sunday, that could be 6 points straight away. If you think about it that way, a lot of things could have went wrong. So we've got basically got a good bite of the cherry here now to make things right here.
Exactly, and that's all we can do is we need to stop thinking of if Rangers are going to get beaten by this team. What we have to do is go out and turn up and play against them.
We win our games, and then you can look across the city.
At the end of the day, we should be talking about this maybe in March or maybe in April, when we start looking at helicopters maybe flying over with league titles.
Hopefully, we won't need any helicopters.
Couldn't do that again.
We might need a good old Thursday night session. We'll see. But my prediction for the season is if we win the league, it's an absolute gem. It'd be one of the best league wins probably in the last 10, 11 years. A lot of people might say, obviously, win the treble was spectacular, but just to come back from the slums to a great rebuild and the football we're playing, like lads that are seeing Celtic playing in the 70s and 80s, I was like, this is the type of football, free flowing football. It's unbelievable.
I absolutely agree. I think if we do nothing else, win this league and guarantee that Champions League money, the Champions League group stage, because how amazing would it be next season under the disco lights to finally use the disco lights in the Champions League? Do you know what I mean?
With
Yeah,
Ange with
fantastic.
Ange with his navy slacks on, it'd be great. It'd be great.
As long as we don't get like Barca, PSG for like the millionth time, then. Do you know what I mean?
But come here, if you get PSG, you're basically getting Barca and PSG in the one team at this stage. So.
You might get
I'm just going to merge
as well.
I'm just going to merge. I'd love to get Dortmund. I've always said that year upon year, I'd love to get Dortmund. I think an away trip to Dortmund, if it's possible, would be phenomenal.
We'd have a great reputation with Dortmund. We would be for them games, you know.
Aye.
Congratulations to St. Pauli as well. They beat Hamburger there a couple of weeks ago as well in their derby. But
well, that's one derby result we're hoping for. So hoping we get another one the weekend.
But I'll tell you one thing, Christopher Royer, outstanding so far for Brentford. Some crucial tackle he put off the weekend for them. But look at Christopher Royer, I wish him the very best down in England. You know, it was a good bit of business for Celtic.
Well, we actually got him. I mean, it appeared today in the papers that we didn't get 13.5 million for him, that we actually got 17.5 million up front. For Brentford, it's appeared in the Daily Mail today that we got 17.5 million up front. So,
do you know what? I love Thomas Frank. How
good was it with that wee boy at the end, the Brentford fan? Yeah. I thought that was class.
The only thing I don't like about Thomas Frank is he took Ivan Toney off us. That's the only. That deal should have happened, but that's down to the board. That's down to
Celtic that we didn't get Ivan Toney, and that's why we didn't win 10 in a row, in my opinion. No Definitely. Getting Foster and Tony.
Right, folks, we're going to leave it there because Love Island's on, and I know.
Here we go.
Next missed the first 10 minutes.
Tell you, absolutely. Come here. This is the main event of the week. Never mind the Rangers game on Sunday.
Leicester down to 10 men as well. 1-0 down to West Ham.
It's coming to Soccer Sunday. You're like, oh, what's going on there, guys?
Unbelievable, Jeff.
He's talking about Leicester, and then he's talking about the eviction of Leighton Love Island. Oh God, we're getting bad. But you know what? You can see the difference that what we've accomplished since the cloud over Celtic Park in April, well, the whole lot of last season to now.
Well, the fact that we're all smiling and laughing.
Fans are happier.
Yep.
The fans are back in capacity. And you know what? Seeing you never walk alone for every game is just spectacular. It just, you know, that's it. Absolutely brilliant. But folks, I'll leave it there. I just want to say thanks to everyone that's watching. Thank you to Gaz for coming on, folks. Gaz is on the Celtic Appreciation page on Facebook. There's a lot of interviews with former players, journalists, commentators. Tell us a few, guys, before you go.
So we've had obviously Fran Alonso in last season, Rory Hamilton from BT Sports. We've got Ali Defoy. I'm interviewing her on Wednesday morning. I'm really looking forward to that.
Big Ralph Douglas. That was a good interview.
I had Ralph Douglas. I forgot about.
You and Douglas were like playing best mates for years. The way you're going on.
I know. It was great to have Big Rab on. Hopefully, we'll get one for longer. Obviously, Darren Jackson, Tom Boyd last season as well.
Oh, them boys were gas. The two of them. Darren Jackson was great crack. But Mick, you're going to obviously playing your gig on Sunday. Excited?
Yep. Yeah, no, it's great to be back to live music. Obviously, a couple of small gigs so far, but it'd be nice to get back to one, especially after the Rangers game and draw it on Sunday. So, it'd just be nice to play in front of a crowd instead.
It's gonna be out.
The
live
stream gigs are great.
It's an outdoor. It's an outdoor event. Just to let you know.
Restriction rules are obviously in the south of Ireland, so we have to keep that, I'm afraid. But look, even some bit of crack after the game, be nice to have it back again. So
that's it. I'm just now thinking to myself, what jersey do I wear for Sunday? It's
not the one with the blue, white, and red, and not the people's jersey, not the one with the blue on it. Okay.
I don't know. I just have this thing where I go for the away jerseys when we're playing in Ibrox for some reason, even though we should be wearing hoops. So no, I don't know. I might just wear the pink one for the laugh.
I always wear the hoops when we're playing them at Ibrox. But I think I was looking at somebody designed an Adidas mock-up jersey, and it was the black. I can't remember what season it was, maybe 2012, 2013. And it was remember the black one with the green, white, and orange cuffs and the green, white, and orange collar.
That was the 125-year away one.
And this looked class. This looked a class jersey. If Adidas, it had the green, white, and orange stripes, Adidas stripes, and it looked class. And everybody loved it.
We need a Bumblebee next season.
Jesus, I never want to see that Bumblebee jersey again. I'm telling you. I know you've got it on the new bit. I know you've got it on the new bit.
What's wrong with this one? That nice Tom jersey, the George Cadet. You know, good times this jersey.
Still no over Cadet leaving.
Yeah, but like, what do you think of the jerseys this year? I have to say that I got the green away one, and the quality of it was terrible. The threads, start threading. I had to send it back to the Celtic shop.
I've grown. The third kit's grown on me. I have to be honest.
The Iron Man crest in the middle.
It has grown. I've not bought it, but it's grown on me.
What do you think,
Mick? That's 2 out of 3 there. Anyway, I'm just not sold on it yet. I don't think I will be. I'm afraid.
Have you seen someone wearing a face-to-face though yet, Mick?
I don't even see the lads wearing. It's just not for me. I'm afraid, just not for me.
Have you seen the Puma jerseys? That's it, with the club's names on it.
Yeah.
Man City had a third kit released with Manchester City in big, massive letters across, and then a Puma badge, and it genuinely looks like a training top. And I think it was Marseille last night was wearing what. I was like, who is this? Stevie Wonder's designed them or something, chatting, because like why you would have your own club's name across there's no badge, and it's just the name, and you're like, who's designed that? Seriously, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, Puma have always had a few dodgy jerseys. Remember Shaqiri said a couple of years ago in the Euros, I think it was 2016. I say, I hope Puma don't design condoms because these jerseys just rip too easy.
Right, we'll leave it there, folks.
That's the quote of the night.
Speaking of, so I'll tell you, folks, I just want to say take care to all of you. I should be back for a preview on Saturday night. If I can get people on, I'll get people on for the game on Saturday night. It's obviously the game on Sunday with the pre-talk and then good luck to us as well on Thursday as well over in Alkmaar. Looks like a nice stadium, nice pitch. Hopefully the roof doesn't fall down. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. It was a bad disaster that happened last year with the weather, but I'd say we'll cruise through. I'd say it'd be a 1-0.
I think a draw. I'm going to go one each.
What do you think, Mick?
Yeah, one apiece. I think they'll definitely score at home.
You think one each? Good performance from the boys. I think Rolson will step up to the plate as usual. So the whole team needs to step up.
Let's hope.
That's it. But in a way, but take care of yourselves.